Just give me just 1 second here, guys. We get finished getting set up. Okay, so today we're going to be doing a. Oh, let me start recording first. All right, welcome guys to the Twitch chat here. We're going to be doing a stream here of yesterday's game between No Limit and Darth Link. They were supposed to play at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, or at least that was the message we got. It turns out it was 8 o'clock Sweden time, so which was 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so we didn't have the ability to stream this one live yesterday. But we do have the replay link that was submitted to me, courtesy of Darth Link. Let's go live on that. So we'll be walking through the game here and talking a little bit about it as we go. Let's see what we got. We've got No Limit playing Hunt Down, 12 card start, and it looks like he'll be playing against Darth Link's Throne Room with docking bays like my father, Wackling. No big surprises there. 2 docking bays and 3 senses in his opening hand is certainly a surprise. That's actually a pretty terrible draw just in hindsight thinking about it. Luke is nice, Yoda's okay, but that's going to certainly get him off to a fairly inept turn 1. The 2 locations he can pull, he gets in his opening hand, and now if he wants to verify what's in those 3 cards in his force pile, he'd have to give his opponent a full deck reveal, which is not pleasant. So instead, he'll just take the turn. He'll play off a Rescue in the Clouds. There's Speak with the Jedi Council. That'll help get some activation, hopefully next turn for him. And then he draws another Speak. Ouch. I guess you should have kept drawing before playing the Rescue in the Clouds. If you're going to draw the last card, then obviously, if you're planning on drawing all of the cards in your force pile to begin with, then yes, you should draw them all before playing Rescue in the Clouds, because obviously if he may have taken a different card, is what I'm trying to say there. But he can pitch the extra Speak to Visage, so that's not really too much of a harm foul there. No Limit pitched much Anger in him. Probably wouldn't see that come into play too much in this matchup. Usually that's more for space. Maul and ship cloaked in front of a Rebel pilot. This type of matchup is pretty common. Hunt Down, Throne Room. They've played this one, for 15, 20 years at this point. Typically, it comes down to getting the first characters to battlegrounds and who survives through that first 1 or 2 battles. It comes down to weapon destiny draws and battle destiny draws usually. Who gets that battleground site out and reinforces it? Is the other player then able to respond and clear it, or do they get to kind of dig in a little bit? Usually you're probably only going to see there might be 2 battlegrounds on the deck. We'll have the Cloud City Downtown Plaza for Dark Side. Light Side will probably have the battle planes. If Dark Side's running Expand the Empire, that could be brutal, because then you just block out Expand with the Boss Nash Chamber, block out the battle planes, and then just stack up the Downtown Plaza. And with Insurrection out, it's pretty likely that he is not playing Neighborn. But we'll certainly see if any of that comes into play. They both just kind of pass, draw. I expect it to be pretty slow here in the opening goings. He does get the Jedi Council Chamber out. He pitched a Sense. It was going to be hard to pull off with the +4. And usually the high destinies. I'll get 3PO out. Probably see him put a Sense back with 3PO. Well, he puts Yoda back. That makes sense. You can pull Yoda. Okay. Put a higher destiny card back. And then draw a couple cards. He gets a Sorry About the Mess non-combo and an evac control. Non-combo, sorry about the mess, does not have a canceller. Sometimes you'll see people run that. It's not as good as Blast Emergency because you can't remove characters in battle and stuff with it, but it also can't be canceled. And between Ceasefire and the other card that I'm blanking on right now, Imbalance Combo, there's a couple of commonly played cancelers out there. Looks like we got about 5 people watching there. Leia's daddy. He gets the bridge out. He's got the security tower out. He's got the Emperor now protecting Visage from being canceled and giving himself 2 extra force activation in the process. A lot of times you'll see Darkseid use Vane and go to that site with him to kind of protect Visage from the quick spy cancel. And then Vane also deploys a lot cheaper there. And then he can pull you the castle. Doesn't look like whether No Limit's playing that package or not. We don't know, but yeah, they both pitch ships. There goes a Maul Sith Infiltrator. There goes an extra Emperor. There goes a Profundity. So it's going to be a fairly slow start to this game, as nobody's really going to want to commit to a battleground until they can put multiple characters there to defend it. No. Oh, he gets Yoda out. That gets him an extra icon and the ability to pull a control tunnel vision. Yeah. Save that for next turn. See if you can't draw into some form of Wisa, Boss Nass. Yep, there he goes with the Wisa. That will get grabbed by No Limit on his extra grabber. He grabs the Boss Nass. Again, nobody wanting to commit to a battleground just yet. Picks up Ray. Hear Me Baby. Hear Me Baby will definitely come in handy for canceling I Have You Now, which is very commonly played in hunt down decks, especially with Jedi Luke being so popular. I notice he's running both Jedi Luke and Young Skywalker. I'm sure he's probably run some combination of like 2 or 3 Six Destinies, and then probably just this Young Skywalker for a little extra force retrieval. Another sense goes away. A Gick goes away, but he no escapes the Gick back into hand. That can definitely come in handy. Darth Link will 3PO a card back and pick up an Obi. So he's got a handful of characters here now. Just needs to save up some force and find a spot to put them. Tarkin's bounty comes down on the Emperor. That lets him fish out a card from the force pile. He does get Vane with it. Puts Vane there. We'll see Vane pull Vader or the castle. He pulls the castle. Okay. Now he's got a nice little 12-9 head start on activation. And this is where you'd probably see Darkseid is going to look for a way to get the +1 from Vane. So exactly it's 13-9. They're going to look for a way to now get their battleground out. And they're going to probably want to do Vader with like 2 other characters there to back it up. So they could go the long way and use the castle to deploy Vader there, just to spend some force, get Vader on the table, and then to put the battleground out a little later and then move him over. Takes away the surprise factor and the fact that Vader wouldn't be battling that turn, but it does at least get him on the table and gets the force spent if you're, having issues with force generation. I guess technically he could sit over here with this lightsaber and drain for 1, because since there's no battlegrounds, Coward doesn't do anything. Or simple tricks for Lightside. And now Lightside's going to do the thing where they save some force, and they've got a pile of characters in their hand. This is really just more of a staring contest, usually in the first few turns, as they're looking to see what's available in battlegrounds and things, and yeah. Oh, look at that. A spy. Iceheart and EPP Maul going to the Jedi Council chamber. It's a very bold and aggressive move. Certainly could pay off pretty big for the Darkseid player here. They've got a nice power advantage. Maul's going to get 2 swings at Yoda, and if he were to draw a character of Destiny 1, Tarkin would be able to redraw it. We do see that Lightside does have the first aid combo in hand that would uh, protect its forfeit from being reduced for remainder of turn. So if Maul does hit Yoda, he can play this, and Yoda will get to keep his forfeit. So that's pretty helpful. It also gets around the other part of it, the moving during the move phase, gets around the insurrection. It's not Ellis or Nabrin, it's the other fun card. So he's going to take a swing. There's a Vader that's going to get redrawn. No, he's not going to redraw that with Tarkin. He just cancels and redraws it, so he doesn't take it into hand or anything. I guess he's going to save that maybe for a little later for a Battle Destiny or something. Puts the lightsaber back. Yeah, don't need that. You can fish it out next turn. He's going to play Sniper to add 3 to the total weapon destiny to make sure he gets Yoda this time around. Unfortunately, that is not going to end up being beneficial to him because he's going to hit Yoda and make him forfeit 0, but the Odin Nestler combo is going to restore his forfeit. So this time they didn't need it. They drew 9, so he no limit wasted the sniper, but he made sure he hit him, which he doesn't know his opponent, of course, even plays the first aid combo, let alone has it in his hand already. So Tarkin does get to add a destiny, though, because he's with the leader with Iceheart here. And I'm sure that's what he was saving his redraws for, if he should draw low on Battle Destiny. He starts off with a 6, which is a pretty good draw here. 2 6s. Ouch. No Hoojiks in hand for Lightside. So this could be still end up being a pretty productive battle for Darkside. Ooh, Jedi Lev. Taking Jedi Lev the Anakin. Anakin's not a great character against Huntdown because if they're flipped, he can't really do anything. But, you know, it's better than drawing a 1. Okay, gets a 4. 25 to 8, still taking 17, and those guys only cover 10. So looks like Darth Link's going to be peeling about 7 cards. Probably would have been game over right there if not for the first aid combo. He'd have been peeling 14 cards at this point, and that'd have been like 2/3 of his deck. So he's going to peel 7. He loses Philo off the top, Anakin from hand. Top decks Speak, another Speak, a Chewie Enraged, a Jedi's Concentration, and they're tracking us. So nothing too vital. I mean, 7 Force, obviously it swings things a little bit. And now Darkside is in a position here with Maul and Iceheart at a Drain 3 location. And since there's no battlegrounds on the table, Lightside can't pull simple tricks to just negate that. But we'll see what they... Okay, so they've got EPP Qui-Gon. And Rey. Rey will get a used pile search. He takes another copy of Rey. No Limit plays You Are Beaten with his 2 Force he had saved on Qui-Gon. So Qui-Gon's going to be excluded from battling. And there's no place for Rey to run to. Oh. Darth Link does go ahead and initiate battle here. I'd rather fight on his terms and try and clear out some characters than let his opponent deploy more on top of this. He should be able to forfeit potentially both of these guys. Rey solo gets him 2 Battle Destiny. He might be able to clear both. So still a pretty good spot for him. He did point out when he sent me the link that sometimes he forgets little things when he's playing on Gemp and the timing of things, like playing the weapons display shield. He realized it afterwards, but didn't want to ask his opponent to revert or go back. You know, it's his fault for not uh, hitting the button and playing it in the right order. So he could have caused 2 force loss there for Qui-Gon getting excluded, but forgot to do that. Maul takes a swing at Solo. That's probably, I'm sure he's going to hit both these characters, but there is a copy of their tracking us in the lost pile. He could play that with Solo and subtract 1, make sure it's a miss. He opts not to. Now he'll take a swing at Rey. Draws another 1. Just drawing characters left and right here for Destiny is no limit. No Sith Fury or anything. Ooh, 2 1s. Double miss. Rey might actually end up... Well, she doesn't get hit, but... And then he'll pull the useless gesture shield, which will prevent Solo from being able to play an interrupt from his lost pile. Darthlink pulls simple tricks, which currently does not do anything because there's no battlegrounds. So he does draw the 4 and a 6. So he's got 10 plus Rey adds 1, 11. That's going to clear everybody. Qui-Gon's going to be kind of stuck at the Jedi Council chamber, it looks like. And Darkseid draws, this should be 2 6s, I think, again, right? I am your father, and then the Maul's Infiltrator. Oh, he doesn't have a 2 bested any. Sorry, that was last turn. So he gets the 6, which is enough to clear everybody. No overflow for either side. But Qui-Gon's going to get stranded. And Darkseid plays, or I'm sorry, Darthlink plays Hear Me Baby and pulls the weapons display shield now. Don't know that there'll be too many more opportunities to trigger that effect, but hey, you never know. And he puts a 5 back in a position where he should be able to reasonably find it. Darkseid's got more cards on the table. A couple more on the table than Lightside does. They're up 26, 20, 27, 21 in Life Force counts. Really just that 6 overflow. Okay, so that's what we were talking about earlier with deploying Vader to the castle, being able to then move him eventually later whenever a battleground does come out. But for now, they can just sit over there and just drain for 1. And between that and Visage, they can just slowly grind out a win. Now he puts Dr. E there. I guess fearful of all the light side spies that might be floating around between Jar Jar, Corrin, Jin or so. So he wants Vader to have a little backup, or he's got some type of... Well, this is an exterior site, right? It is. So if he does have an Ellis in his deck, he could move them later. We'll see Corrin Horn go to the security tower instead. And Luke will go down there with him as well. The lightsaber was not in the reserve deck. Or can he not pull it? Because once per turn may deploy Luke's lightsaber. Okay, so that part is just whenever. So I guess it either wasn't in his reserve deck or he didn't want to shuffle. But he gets young Skywalker out. During your control phase, unless a Dark Jedi at a battleground, he can retrieve a force. So it doesn't have to be on table, they have to be at a battleground. So these guys currently would not do much of anything. and young Skywalker could retrieve. So now light side can drain for 2 and retrieve 1, while dark side can just drain for 1 over here. So another of these, one of these games, I guess we're just going to fight over some non-battlegrounds for a little while. But we've quickly progressed all the way to turn 6. So it's pretty interesting. He'll pay to drain for 1. And by being here at the security tower as well, if his opponent does put out the downtown plaza, these guys could slide over. You know, you deploy some of these characters from hand and then move everybody over. So it's a very strategic little chess match these guys are playing. Basically floating around on non-battlegrounds. Looks like he was asking for a revert. He top-decked a Lando, which he's still going to do. Light side still pitches to Gick. I guess they're trying to go back a little further. I guess we're trying to... I don't have the chat, so I don't know what they're talking about in terms of mechanics-wise. I don't know if he was trying to... Oh, I guess No-Limit wanted to draw a few more cards first. I guess he went through his draw phase. Gotcha. Alright, so he's going to draw a few more cards. Light side will still lose the Lando off the top. Dark side loses Vane this time. Okay, so he uses Boss Nass, verifies his reserve deck. Sees that Luke's lightsaber is in there this time around, so... That was the other thing that Darth Link told me when he sent the link. He didn't realize that Luke could retrieve if Luke wasn't at a battleground. He thought Luke had to be at a battleground to do it, so he went past it once or twice, I guess, before he realized he could do it. So that would have been its one retrieval right there that he just missed. That could have been retrieving the Lando. Don't know whether or not it comes into play. Deploys Rey. Does a used pile search. Still not much there. Picks up a rescue in the clouds. Rey's going to draw the bottom card and find the evac control. So somewhere in those 3 cards in his force pile is his battle planes, I guess. And his lightsaber. Gets the lightsaber. Did he already lose the battle planes? Darkseid loses a second copy of Much Anger in him. So pay to drain for 1 with Vader's lightsaber. We may not see a battleground come out this game. I think this is just going to be just letting Visage do its work, letting the drains work. You know, there's really no reason for Darkseid to put their battleground out to try and change the status quo here. We get to move phase. They are going to Ellis. He's going to try and Ellis both guys to the Hoth docking bay, which he'll pay 5 force to do. Ellis will get grabbed. So he's just moving himself to another non-battleground location where he can drain for more. He had to pick, because of Insurrection, he had to pick exterior locations. That's why he couldn't go to Boss Nass's chamber, because it's interior and underwater. Same thing with the throne room and the Jedi Council chamber, so his only options were one of the 2 docking bays. He top-decked the battle planes earlier. Yeah, I thought he might have lost that by now, but they've been moving pretty quick, so I thought maybe I just missed it. It didn't seem like he had it left in those 12 cards. So now Darkseid will be able to pay to drain for 2. Visage will still hit for 1 each turn. Lightside's paying to drain for 2. And since Darkseid had the card advantage at this point, they would win the race. He puts Walkling out of play, retrieves a Jedi Luke. They both lose 1 to Visage. He's going to lose the rescue in the clouds. So I'll fish out a Force Lightning. So you can track that around and also verify what's going on in his reserve deck. Darthlink drains for 2 over here. Should be 2 cards from hand from light side at this point. It's Marajade and a Visage. All right. He deploys the lightsaber, again forgetting the retrieval part. I guess he just maybe realized after the game that Luke didn't have to be at a battleground. Darthlink doesn't play a whole lot on Jemp, so there's a few little things that he has noted he still misses out on sometimes. Oh, Jar Jar's going to the castle with Obi. Now, the sight on this, during your move phase, Vader may move between here and any battleground site. So Vader can't move back. And with the Ellis grabbed, it's unlikely he's got a second one. He might, but it's unlikely. So now Lightside's going to have drains of 2 and 3 to Darkside's drain of 2, as long as they can afford to pay for them, which they should be able to for at least another turn or two. Obviously, yeah, it's going to get expensive. He may only be able to do it for a little bit, but if he can do that, then he can stop his opponent from paying to drain, possibly as well. He's going to put something special in the lost pile to retrieve a starship, giving his opponent back the Wisa. So he just put a 6 down. He played a They're Still Coming Through, so he just put a couple of Destiny together, so he's got the Force Lightning. Oh, I'm sorry, it's the Force he paid, plus the 6, plus the 4 on top. So he's got some decent Destiny tracked up if he can find a spot to use them. Probably here. I can see P59 going here. He uses the 4 to shoot Jar Jar, causes 2 force loss. Jar Jar tries to blow him up. He draws the 6 for that, and then he draws something else for Battle Destiny. And we know he's got the Gick in hand because he threw it away earlier to a Force Drain and then reverted and kept it. So that would be my guess as to what's about to happen this turn. And judging by how much force and stuff he has to work with, that seems like the most likely culprit. No, it's going to be Kylo Ren instead. Okay. So Kylo would get the swing. He's going to swing at Jar Jar. Make sure he hits him. He's going to draw 4-6. Now the problem is going to be when Jar Jar tries to blow him up. That's going to take his last Destiny, so then he won't have a card to draw for Battle Destiny. Let me just see how Kylo works here. Target's hit, forfeit equals 0. Opponent loses 1 force, so dark side's got to lose, or light side's got to lose a force. Now Jar Jar here, Destiny plus 2 is greater than opponent's Destiny plus ability. So Kylo's 5. So it's unlikely that Jar Jar would be successful unless that's like a 1. And that's not going to get Kylo off the hook. He probably wouldn't. Even if it does happen, then Obi still gets the drain. So either way, it works out pretty well for light side. But they'll probably Jar Jar, make him waste the last Destiny, then swing at him, see if they can hit him, and force him to play the Gick. But light side is certainly getting low on cards here. He's going to swing at him. Yeah, Jar Jar does cost 1 force. And he didn't save any. That would have been too easy. I'm still half asleep this morning, staying up late watching that baseball game last night. I didn't even finish it, but craziness. I don't even like baseball. Just was excited by a game to go on that long. so we'll get a sight clear. Young Skywalker can take him into hand and redraw it, but doesn't really get him anywhere. I probably would have taken him into hand to redraw it, just so when you have to lose a card to Visage at the end of the turn, you could then throw away the Young Skywalker. And you might have ended up causing some overflow and forcing him to play the Gick and at least lose a card or two. That's just my personal opinion on that one. Nothing that seems like it stops you from doing it, so you can take that into hand, redraw it. At this point, Darkside's just trying to keep some cards back. Lightside will pay to drain for 3 now. Darkside's going to top deck a couple cards. I guess they really like, they top deck 3 Force there. 3 nice high destinies. I guess they are very much happy with the cards they have in their hand. He's going to use the Odin Nestler First Aid combo. Target any of all your characters at one site to transport to an exterior or battleground site. Draw Destiny, use that much force to transport. So he can move from an interior as long as he's going to an exterior site. So who's he going to send? That's why he wanted the Young Skywalker, so make it cheap to move. He's going to move Qui-Gon from the Jedi Council Chamber over here to the Mustafar Castle, where he can actually be of some use. Good play. Very strong play there. I think Lightside's got about 1 turn left that they could afford to pay to drain at both locations. With 8 force left down and 2 in hand, they've got 10. Lose 1 to Visage is 9, 8, 7, 6. So yeah, that'd be the only turn that they could afford to pay to do it, but at least it causes 2 more force loss, takes 2 more cards away from Darkseid. That may accelerate the point at which they wouldn't be able to pay to drain. I think Lightside's still going to come up a little short in this race, but they might be able to save a couple of force. Oh, and they throw down Maul just in front of him as a token because he still has the Gick in his hand. Because he didn't have to use it on Kylo, so. Oh. But that's, as we count now, I think that's 4 turns that he could have retrieved with Young Skywalker, which gets him 4 more force back, which would have been more Battle Destiny, more force to pay for things. He's got a 5 in his reserve deck. That would be 18 to Darkseid's 7. But since he has the Gick, it's not really going to be all that helpful. We played an entire game with no battleground locations on the table, which does sometimes happen. Swings at Luke and misses. Takes a swing at Luke a second time. Misses again. Lightside draws a 5, which then becomes a 6 because of Rey. No, it's a 6 because of Luke, which then becomes a 7, because this part doesn't have to be him at a battleground either. So light side gets up to 20, 20 to 11. It'd be Maul and 2 cards, or the Gick in hand. Light side will pitch Corn Horn. There goes Maul and the Gick. Visage gets the card from hand. So they're both pretty low on cards here. But with the drain of 2 here, takes him down to 3. Visage pings for 1. Takes him down to only 2 force left. So Battle Plan would not leave him with enough force left to drain. And ironically enough, Battle Plan ends up hurting the light side player more throughout the game than it did for dark side. Oh, they're going to spend the 4 force and pick Vader up using the objective. During your move phase, use 4 force to take Vader into hand from a location you control. Cards on him go to owner's used pile. So he puts the lightsaber back, giving him 1 more force in his differential, and he takes Vader into hand, which is a card he can then pitch to Visage. So he can pitch Vader. Light side has to lose a force. Light side goes down to 2 cards. And then dark side will pitch the other card in hand at the end of the turn to Visage, and then they can pay to drain and drain him out. So light side won't even get to make him lose an additional force. So No Limit picks up the win by 8 in a fairly it was an interactive game. It was an unusual game because again, no battlegrounds being deployed on table. And then, like we said, and like Darth Link himself pointed out, completely missing young Skywalker's retrieval. Probably cost him 4 force, which at least would have let him pay to 1 more turn of drains, peeling 2 or 3 more cards probably throughout the course of the game. And then the weapons display shield would have peeled 2 more cards earlier in the game, and certainly could have slowed things down throughout the course of the game for Darkseid. They would have had a couple less force to work with, to pay to drain and then deploy and things like that. So 2 very minor misplays that he caught and pointed out himself after the game was over. Hopefully he'll clean those things up for game 2 and play a little bit more like the champ we know him to be. And I believe they're trying to play game 2 on Sunday. I think is what they said. They're going to try and play Sunday morning. But with the 6-hour time difference between them, I think they're looking at, it was down here somewhere. Game 2 potentially played some time on Sunday. So they'll have that game hopefully tomorrow. Next up on the list, we've got All Stars versus Tom. That's going to take place tonight at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. Wise and Profundity are playing Sunday morning as well. I think they said they're playing at like 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Wise wants to stream that game himself, so it'll be shown from his perspective, with his point of view, with his hand completely visible to everyone watching the stream. He's trusting his opponent will be to the honor code and won't be watching the game as it's being played. But we shall see. So we got a couple games going on tomorrow, and then Monday, quite a few games going on. I know Queso Sauce is going to be doing some of these games on Monday. He's got the day off from work, so he wants to jump in and do some of the streaming. So look forward to some sauciness on Monday for Crypto versus Mr. Yellow and Spidey Guy Silverglen. And so more OCS games coming this weekend. Thank you guys very much for watching this morning. Tuning in early afternoon here now on the East Coast. And have a great day. Enjoy your Sunday, rest of your Saturday. And take care.